Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103gbfrocks.com. Finally reunited with my tag team partner in podcasting, Jerry Bam Bam Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Reunited, and it feels so good. Here we go.
It was just one episode. Oh, but man, I felt it yesterday. I missed your presence.
I apologize for missing a recap, and to be honest, not seeing Extreme Rules at all. The only Extreme Rules that I've seen was given to me by the WWE in the form of Raw last night and clips and maybe a couple of YouTube videos. I was, instructed to take a look at a couple things. I did hear about the cash-in early in the day, so I went and watched that. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell you a match of the night or anything like that. In fact, I was so pressed for time yesterday. I gave you a choice. I said, which one should I do? Do I need Extreme Rules or would you go with Raw? And you said go with Raw, and I'm very glad that you said that.
Yeah, that was the right answer. I gave it a C minus. They had those three things that I look for in, a good pay-per-view, but it had all those things just a little bit. Like, it had good wrestling, but not a lot. It had a water cooler moment, but it was another cash-in.
But not the one I wanted.
Yeah. A lot of while you did retain your Lock of Destiny, it was kind of in spectacular fashion too, because you went up 2-0, and then there was, I can't remember which one, but I won one of them. So now you're up 2-1, and then so it comes down to the last one. The last one is the 3-way tag match. So I had to have Heavy Machinery win. If anybody else won, you would have retained, which of course New Day won.
Even if we pushed, because I picked New Day.
Correct. So
even if Rowan had retained and Brian had retained.
Right,
okay.
But you would have, yeah, exactly. So,
and not that they were counting towards the points, but each of us, we split on the tiebreaker bets, because we had two side bets that I thought would go for one I thought would be figured out that night, and the other I thought would be figured out later. They were both figured out that night. We split.
Help me out. Remind me.
So you were right about the main event and which one wasn't the main event. And then I was right that Seth Rollins was going to lose his title before Kofi Kingston.
I was right that Brock Lesnar would appear.
Yep.
I was right that Bray Wyatt would not appear.
And boy, I'm kind of glad, because I missed Sunday, but I didn't miss last night. Yowie wowie, pal.
So I don't know if you guys caught it, but there was a little sighting of Sister Abigail on Raw last night.
Why? Do you mean before that, or are you being sarcastic?
I'm being sarcastic. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a Huskus sighting. No. And I've been waiting for so long. I don't know how you reacted or what you thought when it was happening, but the Finn Balor's music starts to power down, and it caught my attention. I was like, what? And then I knew right away. I was like, it's happening. It's happening. Lights, sound effects, and lights, sound effects, and whoo. And I knew it's happening. It's happening, Rob. Did you know it was happening?
I kind of had the thought in my head, because I think I had a spoiler. I wasn't positive. I just kept scrolling real fast. I was only like 15 minutes behind.
Oh.
Like the kids. I mean, I don't even think it was anyone in like the post show. I think it was like some third party.
Why do people have to live tweet? I stay off of Twitter and Instagram. I don't need you to do this to me because I was behind by like an hour and a half.
I mean, if it's like The Walking Dead, I can stay off my phone, but 3 hours of Raw is tough to.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal.
So I didn't have it spoiled at all, and it happened. I thought, in spectacular fashion.
Man,
and it was really well done, right? Am I right?
I could go as far as to say as that was one of my favorite moments in all of Raw. Like, not number one, but man, did I love that. I loved that segment.
It was perfect. It was executed perfectly, and the lights swirling, so you never get like a really clear, super clear shot of the Fiend. The lights do come on, and then they zoom in and they give you that shot of that mask. That, oh my god,
that mask is so creepy.
Legit. legit.
And he's kind of got like those clown pants, kind of like those colored striped pants.
He's like clown. He's like the creepy clown from Slipknot when Slipknot first became popular. Like he's doing it really perfectly.
And like I guess when I was watching it the first time, I thought there was like a woman screaming in the audience, but that was clearly, once they replayed it a few times, it was just like a sound effect that was being played of a scream. And yeah, the lights got real frantic, but he stayed very still to give like the cameras a opportunity to show us what was happening and just how terrifying it was. I give it 5 stars, 6 in the Tokyo Dome.
I give it 6 in the Tokyo Dome without a doubt. It was really well done. It was one of my favorite parts of Raw. And leading up to that, I don't know if you're going to agree with me or not, but I thought Raw was really well done and really well paced. And I liked the storytelling. And I was enjoying Raw all last night. And that just, whew. And it happened early. That was like first hour in.
I wish I could say I agree with that last part, but I love the Bray Wyatt stuff. There's more that I loved. Like, I love everything happening with Maria and Mike Kanellis. I just love it.
I like the beginning stuff. I think the Brock Lesnar stuff is good. I think a lot of things with Brock Lesnar, people think they make it all about his appearances and his part-time status. But for me, it was always, I blamed the part-time status on the poor storytelling and the stale storytelling. But they found a way with the cash in and the Money in the Bank to paint Brock in a new way, to have him be a different story. And as long as they can keep it fresh, now him and Seth Rollins main eventing like it was a Mania, that's not super fresh. But
dude, I'll take that over Roman.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the beginning. I loved the Ricochet stuff with the Usos and the Revival. I loved the match was good, and it led into more AJ and the club. I mean, Raw was nonstop for me, and I was happy with it.
I didn't love the stuff outside of Bray, but I also didn't hate it. I would say the stuff with Bray, the Kanellises, I mean, everything you just mentioned was good, just not great to me.
And the Kanellises, it's heating up. I think what I appreciate about Raw is that you saw a ton of new faces last night. They worked everybody in. I mean, Zack Ryder was on the show, and it made sense. And the Lucha House Party was on the show, and it made sense. And people were all over the place. And even the quick Joe and Finn Balor match that led up to the Bray Wyatt stuff, that was done really well. And they both had some credibility with the end of that match. And it was just, I just thought it was really well written. And the Bray stuff, again, I think we're just going to keep coming back to that. That was the best part. That was the highlight of the night.
I know we've been asking this for weeks now, and now it's a whole new question. But where do we go now?
Well, I'll tell you where my son went, because he was sitting on the couch with me, and as soon as it happens, he just looks up, and he's 8, by the way. And that terrifying thing with Bray happens, and he just goes, "Well, I guess I'm sleeping in your bed tonight."
Wait a minute, it's wrestling night. That means you got a 50-50 chance that he's got to go to bed.
No, he slept in our bed last night. It was a wrestling night, but Kelly was exhausted from our weekend in New York City, so there was no smashing to be done. He was terrified. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to have nightmares." And I was like, "Ah, crap."
Stupid Bray.
Stupid Bray. You're right, though. Where do we go from here, Rob? Is it now a feud with Finn Balor, or is he just, because they did make a point to say he's going to terrorize the WWE. He could get somebody else tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw I guess it was Sister Abigail behind Miz the first time they had done anything, I caught it live, and I didn't find out about later. I was like, oh, that means Bray is going to be feuding with Miz.
Yeah, and he did Miz a few times.
Yeah, and that was kind of, so I don't know if he's feuding with Finn, or he's going to just be doing this again.
Yeah, he's just going to show up whenever he wants. And maybe he might show up tonight as Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. Like, the Fiend seemed like Is the Fiend an always character now? Is the Fiend kind of like his Finn Balor demon? Is he a split personality?
Is that an official name that I just didn't put together? The Fiend?
Yeah, everybody refers to it as the Fiend. The Fiend, because he called him the Fiend in Firefly Funhouse a few times. I'm going to get the Fiend. We call him the Fiend. So like they made a point to call it the Fiend a few times.
I'll make sure I put that in the video title then.
And so so that's the Fiend. Cool.
Hey, let me ask you, in your opinion, did either the camera not get it very well, or did Finn not take a good Sister Abigail?
I think the camera was so concerned with getting that mask, because I noticed that too. They didn't get, and he whips his head, and then boom, and Sister Abigail, and they missed the shot.
Okay.
The WWE has a million cameras on every angle at all times. So you'd think if they wanted to show that shot, they could. Might not have been a good Sister Abigail. Who knows? He held it. He held him in place for a long time.
Yeah, well, you had to. Oh, it was just chilling. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. I loved it.
Now, something that didn't give you goosebumps, I'm sure, was Roman Reigns potentially taking on Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Did you have a reaction in your gut? When they announced him, I was like, oh, God, I think I'd rather have Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, it was weird. There wasn't a lot of people in that 10-man battle royal that I really was like, yeah, I could get behind this. You know who I think I wanted the most, strangely?
Who? Because I had one that I wanted the most.
I think the one I wanted most was Ray.
I wanted Ray or Big E.
I wanted Ray or Cesaro.
And I thought that, like, the picking of the 10 was interesting because it's like a top 10, but they picked Cesaro and not Aleister Black. And Aleister Black beat Cesaro the night before.
That's true. That's a very good point. And then another, if wrestling were a real kind of thing. So you've got Raw and SmackDown, two distinct brands. Why would you have SmackDown people compete for a number one contender spot for your title?
Because it's a cross-branded. Didn't you hear him say cross-branded?
But why would you make it cross-branded if you're really running Raw?
Because it's Vince McMahon.
It's just goofy, but okay.
Also, why would you have video cameras in from WWE filming your wedding, the consummation of your marriage?
All right, we need to talk about this. First of all, my understanding is that is Drake Maverick's shoot wife.
Yes, it is.
She's lovely.
Yeah, she's a good sport. Look at her go.
Yeah, she's actually, you're right. She's pretty good at her role. Is she in any way involved in wrestling?
I think she is. I don't know much about it. I could Google it quickly if you don't mind.
I'm curious. Yeah. I mean, by the time you do that, someone might even just text me and be like, yeah, she's the XPW women's champion or whatever. But
let's see. In his personal life, Drake Maverick married fellow professional wrestler and 2017 Mae Young Classic competitor Renee Michelle.
She seems good. Like she's like in the world of wrestling, she seems like she's fairly competent as an actress. Yeah,
and she's pretty. And I didn't watch the Mae Young Classic. I think you guys won't be shocked to hear that. So I don't know if she's any good. I don't know if she's any good in the ring or not. But it's better than Drake Maverick, who doesn't even know if she's any good in bed.
I gotta tell you, I know it's stupid, and I know that I am the, if wrestling were real guy. This 24/7 thing is still not messing with me, except for the GD number of roll-ups. Can the title change with a move besides a roll-up, please?
But it did last night. It did. He rolled him up, but he kicked out, and then he took a cross-body block onto the bed.
Whatever. Good God, with these roll-ups, it's just a roll-up title. How come they can't get a bit more creative than this? Like in a fantasy world where R-Truth just slid in on the tray of the room service or whatever it was, why can't they get a bit more creative with something besides a roll-up?
Why is Drake Maverick looking? If there's someone who snuck into the room with the waiter, why would he look under the bed?
Not only that, like looking under the mattress twice.
Look what the waiter brought in. Why don't we look under that thing with the big long tablecloth.
So goofy.
Oh, it's good. But it's goofy in the right way.
It almost just feels like this division specifically is being written by Russo. But it's, I don't know. And I'm also happy to see like it's kind of going 14 again. I still don't look to see what the rating is.
I didn't think to either. You know, now that I think about it.
But it does make me happy that it's being written towards that same audience that the Attitude Era was written for.
It absolutely is. It just stuff seems edgier. You know, the AJ Club stuff, it just seems edgier. You know, and that's going really well, don't you think? The stuff with Ricochet and AJ, that feud's just getting bigger and bigger. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's going fine for me.
I mean, they had like 3 different segments. I thought it was so good. And then Ricochet came back out and beat up on AJ, and come on, pal.
I'll tell you where their attitude turn misses for me is when you have Natty calling Alexa Bliss a bitch or
Becky Lynch, you mean?
Or whichever. It's just like, it's so, for some reason, Natty can't do it.
I feel like Natty had Roman Reigns write a promo.
If you just take a short pause before you say the B word, that's going to get him every time, Natty.
Bitch.
That's when it becomes lame to me, when it just becomes ... curse word. But otherwise, I like what's happening.
Talk about lack of interest, though. Like they have this 4-way competition to see who's going to take on Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, and I didn't want any of them to win.
I kind of liked what Alexa Bliss was doing, how she was like just kind of sliding in at opportune times. But that match went way too long.
Too long.
Right? Didn't it?
It went a little too long. It was one of the segments that I thought dragged on. Everything else was zipping and zapping, man. It was good. I liked the Dolph Ziggler Miz stuff.
That was okay. Yeah, it seems like they're going somewhere, probably for SummerSlam.
Boy, I'm wondering if anybody else enjoyed Raw as much as me. I loved Raw, and I've read some reviews like as recaps, and they didn't like it either. Like the one that I read, and I think I'm going to stop looking to Bleacher Report for my run sheet, because Bleacher Report's kind of in bed with AEW, and they just poop all over anything WWE at this point. And I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. But they didn't like a lot of it, giving Fs to stuff, and and Ds and D pluses, and I was like, I don't need to see this.
What were some fails for them last night? Do you still have it open?
Yeah. You want to know the one thing that got an F?
Yeah, please. Curious.
Zack Ryder, Mike Kanellis, and Maria Kanellis got an F.
I mean, it was a 4-second match, so maybe they're coming from that point of view, but it's part of a bigger story.
No, they don't like the story. They write, it's embarrassing to watch Mike Kanellis get beaten down, dismissed, and humiliated by Maria. It's uncomfortable watching his treatment. This is stupid and silly. The longer this goes on, the less likable it makes Maria, the more pathetic it makes Mike. This isn't helping anybody. They both have clear paths to being stars, and they're being wasted. That's what was written. I was like, that's the story, you dumb son of a gun.
Yeah, I disagree with that. But I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I get mine from CBS Sports, and I oftentimes disagree with their grades of things.
They gave the Bray Wyatt thing a C.
A C?
Gave it a C because the Finn Balor Samoa Joe match was totally unnecessary. They thought that that the Fiend persona of Bray Wyatt was well done, but still poorly placed and not executed perfectly.
All right, I'm curious just to see now. I haven't pulled up my run sheet, but I'm doing it now. I'm going to go to my site, CBS Sports. Let's see here. Okay, they gave Seth Rollins wins the All-Star Battle Royal a D+. I didn't love that either. Okay, Bray Wyatt escapes the Funhouse. That got an A. To me that was an A+ segment.
That gets an A. Do you feel, having watched the pay-per-view, should that have been on the pay-per-view?
Yeah. Yeah, I do think that, especially because they crowbarred Nakamura and Balor into the pay-per-view, or at least onto the pre-show. I would have maybe put Owens and Ziggler on the pre-show, And then I would have put Nakamura and Balor on the pay-per-view, and then I'm the guy. I would rather make your pay-per-views exciting.
Make it, yeah, and it wasn't like it was for the Intercontinental Championship, so you could have easily not put that on the kickoff show. Boy, if they'd put Bray Wyatt coming back as the Fiend on the kickoff show, how pissed would you have been?
Well, that would have upset me. And then let me keep going. I'm curious what they gave Mike and Maria Kanellis. So I just want to see that. Give me 1 sec. Oh, it doesn't give that. It doesn't give like small things a grade. It just says Zack Ryder defeated Mike Kanellis via pinfall after the Rough Rider. Post-match, Maria berated Mike once again for being a loser after she earlier tried to wrestle the match in his place because, well, he's a loser. Okay.
I think it's a cool story.
What are they giving? What's your site giving the 24/7 stuff?
A.
Really?
Yeah, gave that an A. It's the only A it gave.
You're kidding me.
No.
Wow. Yeah, I would say that is a skewed grading, but you know, like, again, I don't let those influence my opinions.
No, I just don't like to even see it because I feel like, how wrong am I that I loved Raw this much? The Drew McIntyre, Cedric Alexander thing I liked. I liked it all. I thought that was great.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Cedric go over clean last night?
He did. And it was impressive. He out-wrestled Drew, and he got the sneaky pin, and he ended up winning. Here we go.
Here we go what?
Here we go.
Well, my thing is...
It's exciting.
I feel like when's Drew's last big win?
He's going to get one. He's going to get one now. He's going to get one over Cedric Alexander here next week.
That's not a big win for him. You look at him, he should be beating Cedric Alexander.
This is like Razor Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid.
No, it's not.
It could be.
Razor Ramon was getting win over the 1-2-3 Kid at first. And then Kid squeaked out a fluke victory, or was it a fluke? We need to find out. You know, it's like, this is not the same story.
But it's a different story told differently, but in a nice way.
Okay. I'm just worried about Drew. He's a friend of my show, and I would like him. We all want Drew to do well, and I don't know that he's being handled well.
You're not the kiss of death. You will give him a championship. You've done it to everybody else.
I did it for Kofi, if nothing else. Kofi's been on my show 3 times.
You definitely did it to Kofi.
I'm worried about Drew.
I'm not. That dude is a big monster heel. He'll get used, right? He'll get used.
He wasn't even in the All-Star Battle Royal, had 10 people.
I know.
He wasn't even one of them. They
got to stop putting him with the Shane McMahons of the world. And did you notice no Shane last night?
I did notice. Why? What are you implying there?
I thought that was interesting. We went from all the Shane to no Shane on Raw. So
it's just one episode. There's still an episode tonight.
He'll show up tonight because of the Kevin Owens stuff, I assume.
Sami Zayn was in the All-Star Battle Royal.
I know. That one didn't make sense to me. Like, why put Sami Zayn in and not Kevin Owens?
Or Drew McIntyre. I'm not worried about Kevin now. I'm worried about Drew.
Right. Hashtag worried about Drew.
So we're curious what your take on Raw was. I'm not, first of all, don't mistake for what I was saying as pissing on Raw, because I wasn't. I don't think I liked it as much as Jerry, but I liked it.
I thought the Battle Royal was kind of fun too. Like, people were getting eliminated left and right, but when it came down to who it came down to, I went, oh God Almighty! I didn't want any of the ones that were left to win.
Yeah,
and I kind of. You may be mad at me for this, but I was kind of, when it came down to the final 2, I went, let's do Randy Orton here, because the last time Randy Orton and Brock, I mean, there's a story there. The last time they wrestled in the main event at SummerSlam, there was a ref stoppage. Randy Orton was having a forehead period all over the ring, and he took like real elbows, legit elbows.
Yeah.
Jericho fighting in the backstage because of it. Like, there's a story.
I haven't said anything bad about Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar.
But instead, we get Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar again.
I think I'm okay with this still, though. It's because it doesn't feel old yet to me.
Yeah, and if you think about it, their story's been going on for a long time. I mean, they've each cashed in on each other.
They're the only people who can say that.
I think that's cool. They've each cashed in on each other and taken it from one another.
I don't know. It's like with Roman Reigns, like by the time we got to the Greatest Rumble and that cage match and everything, like it was old at that point. Like I remember thinking it was stale. And I'm not there with Seth yet. It doesn't mean I won't get there. It just means I'm not there yet. And then I had one other point that I wanted to make, and I don't remember exactly what it was now. Oh yeah, I realized I've been excited because Raw next week looks kind of neat, but I know they're going to screw this up. I know it's going to be unwatchably bad.
I read that they invited JR to show up.
I heard he turned it down.
He declined.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I assume that
they're totally especially in mass like this, they're unable to do something cool with these guys.
Remember Raw 25? That was kind of botched a little bit, wasn't it?
That's what I'm referring to specifically.
I mean, I didn't hate that show, but the crowd and the one crowd was really bummed out, weren't they? They were riotous.
Yes, the Manhattan Center crowd was uproarious, rightfully so.
And you would have been too. And if you would have gotten to pick which one you were going to be in, you'd have picked the Manhattan Center, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that to me is legendary soil. I used to live in that building, remember?
Yeah, you lived above it, right?
It's that ballroom is like floors 5 through, I don't know, 10 or 7 or whatever of the New Yorker hotel.
Yeah.
And I lived on the 27th floor for 4 months in the summer of 2004. It was very cool to be living in the same building that the first several Raws took place in.
But if I said, Rob, I have front row seats for Raw 25, pick which arena you want to be in, which one you want to do. You'd have picked we would have both picked the wrong one, wouldn't we?
Ahead of the game, I would have said, yeah, let's go to the Manhattan Center. Looking back, the Barclays Center got the much better show.
Got the much better show.
So, but here's with the exception of Steve Austin, which of the legends did they use well that show? None of them. Zero. They all got crowbarred in. That's what's going to happen next Monday. Mark my words. We're all excited because, oh yeah, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan, but they all get used very poorly.
They're just going to get shoved in there to give their catchphrase and maybe do a move, and that's that.
Yep. Not what I want.
Won't propel a story.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Anything else you want to mention?
Yowie wowie.
Yowie wowie. We're going to do it again tomorrow, everybody, boys and girls. We're going to return to this fun house. Hopefully SmackDown will give us as much to talk about as Raw did, if not more. Really hoping we have some more Bray Wyatt stuff to talk about tomorrow. But if nothing else, we've got the man, Jerry Valeri, back tomorrow. Same time, same station. What?
I was just going to say happy birthday, Bobby Lashley.
All right, happy birthday, Bobby Lashley. We'll be back tomorrow on Post to Post.
You big dumb galoot. I'm glad you didn't win the Battle Royal, you piece of garbage. Happy birthday.
That would have been cool. Lashley and Lesnar? No?
Give it to Big E.
Hey, I would have been okay with that, but whatever.
Give the New Day all the belts.
All right, this is all bonus show. The episode's over. We'll be back tomorrow.
I want them all the belts.